welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things. Today is a Sewers Club project review video for December. So what project review videos are is that I look at the project that I did the year before, decide if I want to redo it, and then talk about it. I'll remake it and then talk about it. I do these for projects that I kind of liked, but I wanted to change or improve on or do something with. It's not just like a complete recreation of last year's project, because then it doesn't make any sense for why I would remake it. So yeah, last December's project was this double-sided zipper pouch. So it's a pouch that is double-sided, has two zippers, then two completely separate compartments. I really liked it, but I needed it to be a little bit bigger and stuff. So that's why I chose to redo it this year. This project, actually before we get started, if you don't know what Sewers Club is a monthly subscription box where for around $35 or $40, you get everything you need to make one project. That's the fabric, the thread, any kinds of like interfacings or fusible fleeces, zippers, any kinds of fasteners and things that you might need. Everything you need so that you have one completed project at the end. That of course includes the pattern as well. And then for an additional couple of dollars a month, actually around $10 a month, you also get a Notion add-on. These add-ons can be helpful to your project, but are not necessary to complete it. If you want to know whether or not the add-on is right for you, I did do a video last week discussing the pros, cons of having of getting the Notions, I guess. That's not exactly how I phrase it. How did I say it? My top 5, my bottom 5, and my 5 honorable mentions. And kind of give a breakdown on why I like the things, why I don't like the things, and then kind of let you decide whether or not the Notions are right for you. But yeah, so check that video out if you want to know more about the Notions. Yeah, so let's talk about this video. This video is going to be in 4 parts. Part 1 is discussing why I chose to remake this project. Part 2 is what I did differently with this project rather than last year's project. If you want a walkthrough on how this project is made, kind of discussing the steps that are provided in the pattern, check out last year's video instead. I'm not going to go into it in this video, just some of the things that I changed and when I added them in. Part 3 is going to be pros, cons, and user error. This isn't changing because I always have pros, cons, and I almost always have errors. And then part 4 is final thoughts and sign off. So yeah, also quickly before I jump into all of that, I just want to say hi to the new subscribers. I've had quite a bit of a leap in the last few days. I wonder if something was going on with the YouTube studio and it wasn't letting me know of new subscribers, because I got like 25 of them in like the last few days, and that's absolutely awesome. So if you're new and you're checking me out, thank you so much for subscribing. My goal is to hit 250 by the new year, so 10 away. So yeah, I normally save that till the end, but I'm really excited when I checked this morning and saw I had 240 subscribers. So hi, and thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate every single one of you. All right, let's get into this. Part 1. Why did I choose to remake this project? So I really like the original bag. I really like the size of the bag. I really like the double kind of sided nature of it. Excuse the crackling, that's stuff from my last trip to Canada. I love this wintry fabric of it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I really like how flat it is. It really lets me carry like a bunch of flat kind of things. Like I currently have a couple of, 3, wow, hand wipes from the Canadian Brew House. And I have one of these. This is awesome. These are sleep masks. These are warming sleep masks that I found in Japan. This one is lavender scented because that's my favorite. And yeah, so when I fly, I always have a couple of masks so that if I have like a headache or I need to relax on the plane, I can with these babies. They're really, really cool. They come they come lavender, chamomile, and rose scented. If there's more, I'll let you know. But I keep all of my flat stuff like that on this side, like masks and extra masks, all of those kinds of cleaning hygiene items, and then like a couple of sleep masks. And then on this side, what I've been doing is I've been carrying, these are some free Air Canada headphones because I forgot my wired headphones, but I keep cords and stuff on this side. Like I use my external battery pack goes in here, audio cables, charging cords, things like that. And then I keep this on and then it slides into my purse, and then I take it on the airplane. And I really like it. And because I really like it, I wanted to remake it in fabric that's not winter specific. Like I really like this, but I wanted it to be like a little bit more like flying in like summer. It doesn't look so weird pulling it out. I also wanted to make it a little bit bigger. I wanted it to fit my Kindle, this guy here, because I like to read my Kindle on the airplane too. But like it looks like it would fit, but it doesn't quite. So I wanted to make something that would fit my Kindle so that my Kindle can live in here too while I travel. So yeah, that's why I chose to remake this project. So let's go part 2, the changes and things that I did with it. So I chose the batik pattern or batik fabric to use because I really liked it and it spoke to me and I wanted to make something out of it. I was going to use that poppy fabric that came in last month's or my most recent Sewers Club stash. But I decided to stick with my original plan, which was this really beautiful, like, batik. So, right here's the top, here's back side, right? It's batik, so it's basically the same on both sides. And then I used this little guy as my interior, and you'll see that when I do it, right? It coordinates quite nicely. Right, but it still looks pretty cool on its own. I only have like a little bit of this left. I used 2 fat quarters. Some of my stash builder, right? Both of these came out of a Sewers Club stash builder. So I used just like, I have like a couple of scraps left of this one. I have this long, thin scrap piece and like this piece here. And if there's any more, they're just like little pieces floating around. So definitely a good use for scrap or for stash build for a fat quarter if you have a couple lying around. So yeah, that's the fabric. So what did I do different? Like I said, with this original one, I wanted to make it a little bit bigger. Like I really liked it, but it doesn't quite fit my Kindle and it doesn't quite fit my passport either. But I realized I don't need it to fit my passport because I carry my passport in a completely different place. And I wanted to keep this for cords and things that I would need on the airplane. So what I did is I kept the length the same, but I made it a bit wider. Like I made it 1 inch wider, thinking that it would work better for me, and that was a bit of a mistake. Well, not like, you'll see. So here's my one side, here's my other side. I'm sure you can see there's stuff dangling off of it. Here's my interior. right? So it's kind of fun to open it up and see that on the inside. It's the same, it's exactly the same pouch on both sides. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a user error there. I made sure that my sides were pointing up in the same direction, and I even kept like the same pieces together. So like when I was cutting it out, right, like the pattern of course repeats itself. But when I was cutting it out, like I made sure like this grouping like stayed together and like this grouping stayed together, because the colors vary so much that I didn't want to have it sit like, is there going to be a good, yeah, like a sit like this, where they look like they match, but they're not the same. Like I like how the colors came, like look like they're still flowing properly from like one side to the other. That one's a little different, but I think you get what I'm saying. The other thing that I did differently is I added some D-rings and I made a strap. So I used little, like I made little D-ring tabs. And what I did is that in one of the steps towards the end, they have you start to like lay your fabric out, start sandwiching your fabric. And what they do is they have you take this zippered side and this zippered side, and you lay them facing each other. And when that happened, I just made sure to measure out equal distant from the inside here, 2 and, what is it? It's sitting, like I measured it about 2.5, 2.25 inches out from like this cut, or the center seam, or about 2 inches from the center seam, it looks like I went. And put the D-rings in, right? I made the D-rings like you always make with Sewers Club. You take, I'll use this one. You take a piece of fabric, you iron it so that there's a nice seam. Then you fold one side in, you fold your other side in, you fold it over, and then you sew both sides so that you have like a nice like multi-layered, really strong D-ring holder or strap or whatever. So I did that. I made 2 of them, and then I just secured them in between the 2 exterior pieces. So like imagine that this was one side of your fabric, right? So this is like one side of your outside fabric, like one side of your zippered fabric. Here's your D-ring holder. You insert your D-ring, you lie it on like this, right? You secure it, like you baste it in place or whatever. So that's basted in place, and then you take your second piece of exterior fabric. What's convenient that's already cut? This is really big, but no, I don't want to use that. So here's your second piece of exterior fabric, right? You sew that together, right? So that your 2 right sides face each other, your D-ring is sandwiched, and then when you turn everything around, it looks like this, and your little tab pokes up. I don't know if that explanation was necessary, but you got it. And then I made a strap to match out of the exterior fabric because I didn't have enough of the interior fabric left. I don't remember how long this strap is. I kind of just sliced it, a 2-inch slice off of like the bottom of it. So actually I think it's this long. Yeah, it's around 22 inches. That seems really long. I don't think that's right. I could just take this off and measure it. That's Hazel, my foster cat. Yeah, so it measures 20 inches, so it was probably around 21 inches to start. I did, because it's a thin strap, I did just like a decorative stitch through it. I didn't care if it was straight or not because it's for my own personal use. And I think it kind of looking a bit like a mess kind of goes with like the fabric. I don't know, I really like it. I bought a whole bunch of these swivel hooks and D-rings for a bonus or an alternative pattern project from the summer. So I just used some of these on here, and this was the finished thing. I did this because sometimes I don't carry a purse or anything onto the plane. Like when you're sitting at an airport and they're like, can anybody like check their bags? There's no room in the overhead. I always check my bag. And if I can get away with like having my purse, like, because I usually travel with a large purse too. My purse is usually my purse is usually shoved into my carry-on, and then I carry my laptop bag. And when I carry my laptop bag, sometimes I don't have quite enough space. So I thought that if I made straps like this, I could attach it to my laptop bag. Here's a photo of it kind of put together for you, so that if I have to take my carry-on and my laptop bag, I have somewhere for this to hang out that's not causing too much of an issue. And then if I get to check my carry-on, which I'm always do if I can get away with it, I always check my carry-on. I hate walking through airports with a bunch of stuff. So my carry-on usually has like my jacket shoved into it, my bigger, heavier like winter boots and stuff, and then I usually wear like a lighter weighted pair of shoes through the airport. Okay, I've gotten off topic. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I wanted to have this straps so that it can hang off of my suitcase, or off of my my laptop bag if it needed to. It could be shoved into my purse if I'm carrying it on. And also this strap I think will work so that I can attach it to the back of my seat, right? Because usually they have like a little coat hook thing on the back of, right? Or in the front of the seat, or on the back of the seat in front of you, right? So I thought that I could hang this there and have it tuck into my the plane pocket, right? So that this doesn't get lost in the plane pocket, if that makes any sense to you. Basically, I wanted to make it as easy to use as possible while on the airplane, because like I said, I keep all of my hygiene kind of stuff in here, or I don't know, cleaning wipes and things like that in here. And I keep all of my cords for charging and things like that in these as well. So that's where this is. The other thing that I did for the first time in a very long time is I tried my zipper foot out on my machine, right? I have a zipper foot. I thought maybe I would try it. And this has come out a lot cleaner than any of the other ones. The zipper still isn't perfectly straight, but it looks really nice. Like this zipper actually came out really straight the first time. But do you see like the amount of bulk that I have here? Right? Like this one is sewn all the way down. This one has like a little bit of a lip. This one is sewn mostly down, and this one is also, but like they're not perfect. With the zipper foot, like I got like a much cleaner thing, and I don't have as much bulk. And like, look at how close I managed to get my top stitching. Like that, I think is just so cool. I'm so happy with that. So yeah, this is the new project compared to last year's project. What do you think? Do you like the changes that I made? Would you include like your little like D-rings and a little strap, or do you think that's just a little excessive? And what would you use this bag for as well? Like I use it as like a little travel accessories bag, but are there things that you would use for it? Let me know. So let's get on to part 3, pros, cons, and user error. Pro, I really like it. I remade it, so that's obvious. I really like how this strap and D-rings turned out. Like, I really like how, like, clean these are. Like, I had to fiddle around with it to make them look this good, but they turned out really well, and I'm really happy with it. I really like that I tried out my zipper foot, and I'm going to try to remember to use that more often. I used the zipper foot on another toiletry bag, too, that I just made. The beauty about like filming on your messy fabric and project laden dining room table is that you can reach things easily. So I just made this other toiletry bag out of some Wonder Woman fabric, and I used the zipper foot on that too, and I think it came out pretty cool as well. This is a Christmas present. So if the person is watching it, ta-da! But yeah, so anyway, look at how clean this zipper came out too. I'm going to use the zipper foot more often. Cons. There isn't much of a con on this because, again, I chose to remake it. Yeah, there's really no cons that I can think of off the top of my head. Because my biggest con is actually a user error. All right, user error. So like I opened this video saying, I wanted to make something large enough for my Kindle, and I didn't. So here's my Kindle, right? You think, oh, look, it'll fit. But the problem is that like the way that the zipper is sewn in, right, these tabs, I needed to make this like an inch longer as well as an inch wider. So my Kindle still like does not slide into here in any comfortable fashion. Like, I'm sure if I tried hard enough I can force it in, but it's just, it does not, I cannot get it in. I feel like one of those infomercials that like, can't make this fit, whatever, you know. But yeah, I cannot get this in for the life of me. So yeah, I made a project to specifically hold my Kindle for traveling, and I failed. Like, it's wider than this, so it'll hold more stuff and be a little more easy to access, but it still doesn't fit the one thing I wanted it to fit. And all I needed to do was think it through a little bit more when I was making it. I'm planning it out. And if I had done just like 1 inch extra in the length, or 1.5 inches extra in the length, it would have fit perfectly and I wouldn't have this issue. As it is, it's just going to slide into my laptop case like it always does. But I thought I was being so clever and I failed at the one thing I tried to do. My other user error is when I was sewing this up, I didn't hand stitch it closed like they suggested, because I hate hand stitching. And I accidentally caught a bit of this exterior in the fabric when I was closing it on my machine. But because, again, it's for my personal use, it doesn't really bother me that much. One thing I do want to say that is if you do try to add straps to yours, make sure that you do them where your zippers point up, I think, so that when things are hanging down in here, it's not going to like pull on your zipper. But yeah, so that's my main user error, sewing this in and not making sure that it was actually big enough to hold my Kindle. So annoyed. I don't even know if I'm going to listen to my Kindle though, honestly, on the plane, because I just downloaded an Audible, or I just got Audible to listen to some books, and I'm now completely obsessed with that. But it's always nice to have my Kindle as a backup. So yeah, that's this project. Let's get on to final thoughts and sign off, because this is video 1 of 4 that I'm filming today. Final thoughts. I really like this project. I really like the colors and the style and how this fabric works with this bag. I'm really excited to keep this, have this in my life. I think it looks so cool, and I think it's going to be so useful. Like, this is an Air Canada Clean Care kit that they include. I got this one last year, or over the summer. So like this will fit in here better. Like this, had a hard time getting into that one. but I'm pretty sure, yeah, see, it's just these zipper tabs. Right, so that fits in. Here's a random mask I had floating around, right? It'll fit in a random mask. I'm pretty sure we all have random masks floating around. Here's all of my other stuff, right? I always hold on to these like little moist wipes and stuff. That can go in. And actually what I do like about this is because it's not as bulky as this is. I'm not sure why, but it's actually like sits a little flatter than this guy. So that's really cool, right? So I could get even more stuff on that side. And then on this side, right, we'll just use these cheap headphones on in here as well, right? And then I could just keep tucking and tucking and tucking. And then this will still like, it'll inflate to like a decent size. And like you can get quite a bit in here that you need to. So that's what I really like about this. I really like its shape and how much it'll be able to hold. And I really like how well my detailing worked out. The one negative, and I had this from the first one too after I used it for a while, is it would have been nice to do something to differentiate which side is holding what. And I forgot about that until I was working on this one, that was something I wanted to try to address, and I completely forgot. Like if I used like a little handmade tag, I would know, right? Yeah, I would know the differences between one side and the other. But that's this guy, all nice and finished for you. And yeah, so let me know again what you thought about this project. If you like the fabrics that I chose, what fabrics would you use, and what would you use, what would you put into a little bag like this? All of that stuff is really interesting to know. And yeah, so like the video if you've made it to the end. And with all of that being said, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you again soon.